The secret of peace lies in our complete presence in the present. A lot of masters, a lot of gurus, a lot of sages have spoken about living in the moment, living in the present, living in now as the secret of peace. Atma Namaste. I'm Neeldhara and I help people live soulfully. So when these masters spoke about living in the present, what did they actually imply? What did they actually mean? What did they want us to learn? Living in the present basically means getting over the past. A lot of us are not able to differentiate between moving on and getting over. So most of us focus on moving on. And though a lot of us say that, okay, I've moved on, I have completed that chapter and I've restarted and I do not think about that anymore, still we are not in that peaceful state of mind. We do not achieve that calmness, that inner peace. We are not able to live in the present moment. And the reason is that moving on is just a part of getting over. By moving on, what we do is that we try to reduce the emotional impact that the experiences have on us. While when we revisit the experience, it still has an emotional impact on us every time we revisit it, and we try to reduce that emotional impact on us, and so we call it moving on. So moving on is basically trying to control the emotional impact that an experience has, any past experience. But we forget that every experience has two types of impacts. One is the emotions generated within us, and two is the lessons that we need to learn through this experience. So while we are focusing on the emotional impact and we feel we've moved on, we still don't get over the experience, the past, because we've not focused on the lessons that we need to learn. Now, lessons also, there is a material lesson attached to every experience and there is a spiritual lesson attached to every experience. So a lot of us learn the material lessons. For example, if it was a failed relationship, the memory of a failed relationship, we've learned probably to communicate better, to understand better, to give space. So we bring in certain changes in ourselves. If it was a failure at work, we learn how to upgrade our skills. We've learned how to deal with our subordinates, with our teams, with our superiors, etc., etc. So we learn these material lessons, but we most often fail to concentrate or focus on the spiritual lessons that every past experience has in it. Every experience that has an impact on our life definitely has a spiritual lesson. And only if we learn that spiritual lesson will we complete the entire cycle of getting over the past. Else we will only keep moving on and still not achieve that peace. Now, every experience, as I said, has a spiritual lesson. And that lesson is that everything that happens, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, every experience that has an impact on our life is meant for us to grow. It's meant for us to grow as humans, as souls, to become more accepting of the universe offering everything to us and anything to us, to become more accepting of all that is given to us, whether it is pleasant or painful. This spiritual lesson, this living in gratitude, the lesson of gratitude that yes, everything that has happened to me has happened for my good, has happened because it was meant for me to grow. The moment we realize that every unpleasant experience was meant for us to grow, and we start looking at virtues like forgiveness, compassion, empathy, and start imbibing these virtues, trying to accept everything that life is giving us, we start actually growing, and then we realize that there is nothing to feel bad about any experience that you've had. Every experience is a wonderful experience. There is no bad experience. There are only unpleasant experiences out of which we need to learn to make it a wonderful experience. And the moment we realize this, the moment we become aware of this, the moment we actually absorb this, that it was actually for my growth, we accept the entire experience as one, and then we get over that past. And when we get over each and every past experiences of ours, we learn to live in the present. So keep learning, keep growing out of your past experiences, keep learning from your past experiences, and keep living soulfully. Atma Namaste.